Yeah. Hey, everyone. My government name is Joseph, but you can just call me Joe. This is way more fun than the Alcoholics Anonymous website said that the meetings would be. So, cheers. And I guess I should tell you a little bit about myself. Like any good superhero story, it has an origin story, a redemption arc, and then it all ends up at a glory hole. I like to picture my childhood was just like Fred Savage's was on The Wonder Years, complete with that soothing narrator. Just replace all of the wholesome life lessons with racism, because I grew up in Arkansas, and also poverty, because I also grew up in Arkansas. Growing up, Mom didn't really shine on pornography. And I guess she was like most moms in that regard. When I was about 13, I came home from school one day with a 5-hour-long porno VHS tape, not to date myself, that I bought off of a buddy in band class for $20. And this was the 90s. Ricky Martin was still straight, and nobody knew that Alanis Morissette was singing about Dave Coulier statutory raping her yet. It was a simpler time. I got home an hour before Mom got home, and I fired that puppy up in the living room VHS player. Life was perfect, for all of 5 minutes, until I heard my mom's 1987 Chevy Nova pull up outside the apartment. Mom, why the fuck are you home early? In that situation, it wasn't humanly possible to press the eject button any faster than what I was doing. And with the VHS tape halfway in my hand, but the damage was done. Sometimes God has a very interesting sense of humor. And the front door was open. Hi, Mom! Now, my mom is born and raised in Arkansas, 5 foot nothing, 90 pounds of hellfire when she's pissed, which was often, and has a very thick southern accent. What are you doing? Think quick. You can still make your way out of this. See, last weekend I made a very big deal to record the extended version of Dune from the Sci-Fi Channel. That shit movie from the 80s where Sting was the bad guy. So I said, it's an animated version of Dune. Fuck. Oh Lord. As soon as the word Dune left my lips, I knew the battle was over. Really? Well, I want to see it. No, you don't. But it was too late. She inserted the VHS tape in the player, and I just sat down on the couch. It just so happened that this was not the animated journeys of Paul Atreides. No. It was a black man from the 1970s getting a blowy from 2 coked out white women. Of note, Mom might have been just a bit racist. And no, she did not vote for Obama, and I don't think that this particular porno scene helped my situation any. Mom, rightfully so, had a few questions, none of which revolved around the spice called melange, the desert planet Arrakis, or the Baron Harkonnen. Is this what you think love is? Whoa. Calm down there, Hathaway. No. Where'd you get this? Some dude in band. What's his name? His name is also Joe. Well, Joe obviously stole this from his daddy, and he's probably going to get in big trouble if you don't give it back to him. And this is honestly what happened, she gave the tape back to me. My buddy in band never got his tape back because a deal's a fucking deal. And I don't know if anyone remembers backpacks from the 90s, but the better ones had kind of hidden pockets. And I kept that bitch for at least 2 years. I brought it to school and everything. See, I was born in the 80s, long before the internet was a thing. Acquiring porn either involved finding it growing outside in the wild and forests, staying up late to watch USA Up All Night, or maybe your dad or someone just had porn. But I was a pioneer in the digital age. And about 1995, my dad got me a sweet Pentium 2 computer that I could take over to my mom's house so I would still love my dad. And I do still love my dad. Mom, having caught me with hardcore porn about 2 years prior, knew better than to let me have my computer in my bedroom. But having played loud video games in the living room, she eventually relented and let me move it on in there. So sing with me now the mating call of the 1990s. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah, everyone here my age knows it. So I was a hardened criminal, and for still unknown reasons, Mom gave me the internet. I think I used homework as an excuse, which wasn't entirely a lie. I definitely cheated on homework assignments, but we all know why young teenagers want the internet. But this was long before Pornhub, YouPorn, etc. If you wanted porn, it was going to be a picture, and pictures back then loaded from the top, one bar at a time. First few bars, okay, nice pretty face. Next few bars, yeah, nice tits. Next few bars, nice flat stomach, fuck yeah, she wants me. Next few bars, penis. Yep, she's got a penis, and it's larger than mine. But at that point, you're already committed. Which reminds me, have any of you guys ever stubbed your toe on a sock before? Yep, you're laughing because I'm right. So, Mom had been divorced for about 10 years at this point, and Yahoo Personals were just becoming a thing. So, I was about to go over to my next door neighbor's house to go hang out, and she wanted to get on the computer to fill out a Yahoo Personals ad. So, I wasn't panicked, I was cool. I knew to clear my cookies and my history, so I was good. Alright, Mom, you have fun with that. I'm going to play some N64. So my buddy, he couldn't come out to play for whatever reason, so I just came home. Door wasn't locked. I just walked on inside and into my room, but the door wasn't shut. And as I walked in, Mom was rapid fire closing windows as fast as possible, but not before I could see the pop-up ads. And it's just a bunch of dudes just jerking off. And I'm like, well, hey, Mom, is this what you think love is? And she said, it was an animated version of Dune. So, that's kind of how I began here, but it's not how I ended up here. And it all ended up, like everything in life does, at a glory hole. I was 18, a virgin, I just got done with my basic training, and now I'm finding myself in my tech school in beautiful Biloxi, Mississippi. So, after weeks of training, I was finally able to leave the base in civilian clothes, and I had a grand master plan. It was to leave the base, buy a bunch of hustlers, and then when I'm done with them, I sell them to my buddies who couldn't leave the base, and then sell them for a nice profit. It's kind of like a little cottage industry. So, I'm finally able to leave the base. I told my roommate what I was up to, and there was a local porno store just walking distance from the base. Spitting distance, you can say, if you're a quitter. So, let me just kind of Bob Ross this shit for you for a second on just how shitty this place was. Biloxi must have been getting hit hard by type 1 diabetes, judging by all of the happy little needles in the parking lot. And you guys have probably been to a really nice sex store before, right? It's well lit, it's a nice store, friendly staff, nobody shooting crystal meth inside their dick in the bathroom. This was not that kind of place. This is where you go to buy something that you're never going to shit right again. But I just walked on in. And immediately, the smell of cheap latex hit my nose harder than the first time that I did coke in grade school during spring break. And you guys have probably seen John Wick or The Punisher, and he's got a giant wall full of assault weapons and freaking bazookas. They had something like that, but they were giant dildos. And they had VHS tapes stacked floor to ceiling, which is completely against the fire code. But what really stood out to me was that flashing neon sign that said, Adult Arcade. And like any other 18-year-old male, I love video games. I was like the Wayne Gretzky of playing Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and for all I knew, they had all of these underground video games that were nude and had God knows what in it. And I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to be a part of it. So I went up to the cashier and I said, hello, ma'am. I'd like this $5 bill in quarters, please. And she looked at me like I just fucked her dog. Her small dog. I had just offended the young female cashier in fucking Biloxi. So, let me just explain to you what the adult arcade actually was. And it's not what you think. It's an alley of crudely constructed phone booth-sized rooms where men come in to anonymously suck off and jerk off each other. Oh, you already knew what it was. That's odd. So, inside you're greeted with a video monitor with the grossest 70s full bush porno that you can imagine. I want for you to picture a fully erect Chewbacca banging a female Wookiee while another male Wookiee is sadly masturbating in the corner of the room. And I looked down and I noticed that there was a circular hole cut in either side of the wall. And my naive ass thought that they were renovating. But they were not renovating. That was there by design. And it's at about that moment that player 2 had entered the arena and another gentleman had entered the booth next to me and shut the door. Yeah, they had doors. It was a classy establishment. And then what I could only describe as the most neural, tobacco-stained, geriatric hand came through my jerk-off booth, and it was like Paul Walker was blindly reaching for the stick shift while doing the Bird Box challenge. Emperor fucking Palpatine was trying to play keep away with my barely legal penis. And it's at this moment that my body went into fight or flight, and I zipped up. Yes, I was masturbating. And I kick open the door, and everything goes into slow motion. And as I'm running out, I notice that there's a guy in the corner, and he's just laughing at me. And he's holding a mop and a bucket. And when the jizz mopper's laughing at you, you've really fucked up. What fucked up series of unfortunate events led to Lemony fucking Snicket over there holding a jizz mop making $4.95 an hour? But I digress. And I'm sprinting for my life at this point out of the porno store, and I finally make it out. But I realize something. I'm 2 miles from the base, I'm wearing church shoes, and it's like the end of Black Hawk Down, but without the tanks for cover that the Rangers had. But I finally make it back, and I flash my ID to the mall cop, and I make it back up to my dorm room, and I'm just exhausted, out of breath. And my roommate is laying on his bed playing his guitar because he's a douchebag. And he sits up and he sees me and he says, "Well then, you get the Hustlers?" And I said, "Fuck, I forgot the Hustlers." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Dick Cheney just tried to jerk me off." And he looked at me again, and he stood up, just meeting me eye to eye, and he says, "First of all, Gregory's only 41 years old. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm Joe. Have a good night."